Hey there. The next wine we're going to talk about is a wine from Chile. And this is a wine that is atypical of a lot of the wines we've come to understand are classic from Chile. When we think about Chilean wine, we often think about Sauvignon Blanc or Cabernet Sauvignon, French grape varieties that are made in a really friendly international style. But what's cool is that Chile has a long wine growing history, and some of the vines in Chile, off in the countryside, are 100 years old, sometimes 150 years old or more. There's a long tradition going back. When Spanish explorers started going around the globe, and they're colonizing places, but they were also taking the vine places, and oftentimes this was used in missions for sacramental wine or other purposes. But one of the grapes that made the biggest migration of all grapes in the world was the País grape. You've also heard it referred to as the mission grape or the Mission grape. On the islands of Lanzarote in the Canary Islands, it's called Listan Prieto. But what's cool is that there's old vineyards of it all over Chile, especially in the Maule Valley, which is what we're about to drink is a wine from the Maule Valley in the central valley of Chile. And let's get this wine open. This is the País Viejo, coming from Bouchon. It's a classic winery in Chile. It's been around for more than 120 years. They do a wonderful job, and we're about to check it out. It's a screw cap. Don't be afraid of the screw cap. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Screw cap's great for any wine you're not planning on aging for 10, 20, 30 years. It's great for some of those too. But a lot of wines are drank the day they're purchased, and this is the type of wine that fits that description. This is 2019 vintage. When you think about Southern Hemisphere wines, since Chile is in the Southern Hemisphere, you have a harvest occurring 6 months before the Northern Hemisphere harvest. So this has spent more time in bottle than a Northern Hemisphere 2019. In 2019, vineyards in North America and Italy and France, they were all harvesting in September, October, whereas you're harvesting a lot of times in March in the Southern Hemisphere because it's flipped. So let's taste this wine together. I first off love the color of this wine. You can tell it's very light ruby colored. You can see through it if you look down at it. It's not a wine that's presenting tons of inkiness. And I love the smell of this wine. The aromatics are part of why I picked this wine for the box. It's herbaceous. It reminds me of mint and eucalyptus and fresh rosemary and tarragon. It's almost the first thing you smell before you smell fruit. But I also love there's a really light kind of underripe fruit character here in a pleasant way. Cranberry, pomegranate, just ripe raspberry. Let's get this one on the palate. So one thing about País, and I'll talk about this in a second with the palate, but País, it has a sort of coarseness to it, and it's a pleasant coarseness. When it's handled well, like the guys at Bouchon are doing, the wine gives a very silky impression with a little bit of that rustic kind of peppery tannin that sticks on your palate and coats your mouth and dries it out. But it's so subtle, it's just a little bit of that rusticness. It's not like a angular wine that is difficult to enjoy. It's ever so slightly piquant, peppery, smoky, all those things, and it does have some rustic character. But if you were to have the Mission or the País grape as it was made 50 to 80 years ago, it may not have been quite this appetizing. They're giving it a very light touch, and they're making it in a way that's really approachable, and I love this wine for that reason. When I think about things you'd want to enjoy with this, one of the pairings for this month's box is a ricotta and speck toast, which I think is beautiful. So it's like a open-faced sandwich almost. But any kind of cured meat is perfect with this type of red wine. That's not a huge, big, inky red wine. Yeah, I'm actually serving this with a little bit of a chill on it. It's been in the fridge for about an hour. Not more than that. It doesn't need to be ice cold or anything like that, but just a little bit of that chill can make a wine like this so pleasant. I hope you enjoy this País Viejo. I think it's going to be a really perfect summer red as things are starting to warm up for you. So I hope you enjoy it. Cheers.